Good morning, everyone. So, over the last 2 decades, I have worked across aviation, retail, and enterprise tech, leading teams that merged human judgment and machine learning into scale and products which is used by millions of people. AI has moved far and beyond in the terms of automation. We are now seeing agentic AI systems that plan, reason, and act autonomously, right? Product leaders are no longer just shipping features, they are training ecosystems of algorithms that learn and make those decisions. Look at Microsoft and OpenAI. Now they are co-designing Copilot experience that write code, summarize meetings, and decide tasks proactively for all the users in the real time. At Amazon, LLM-based systems like Rufus learn customers' intent and self-optimize search results for you. So these are no longer features. They are basically your digital colleagues acting inside your own products. So the central question for today is, what does leadership look like when your team includes algorithm bots and autonomous agents, right? And our responsibility shifts from directing those people to orchestrating intelligence in terms of human and making sure they're synthesizing together. We must set vision, govern behavior, and ensure alignment across entities that don't just sleep or forget, right? So, over the next 40 minutes, we'll break this down how AI reshapes the product strategy, execution, and the identity management, and end with a clear framework for how leading in this new world of era. So, Sundar Pichai from Google, repositioned Google as AI first, moving from feature delivery to AI platform governance. Satya Nadella from Microsoft shifted product manager culture towards AI co-creation with OpenAI and GitHub Copilot. Andy from Amazon expanded Bedrock entitled models to empower internal teams to build autonomous AI features securely. So today's agenda is going to talk about what the product strategy with AI is all about. Then we will see how we can do the AI execution at scale. We'll touch a little bit on the agentic AI and the products. Then we'll be talking about managing non-human identities in terms of product management. And then what is the future of product management looks like. So before we jump in, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm Mohit and my journey has always been centered at the intersection of technology, transportation, e-commerce, aviation, and global scale deployments. So today I lead the aviation business at ESP Global, where I work to bring innovation into how airports, airlines, and aviation ecosystem evolves. My goal is to design products and provide services that move not just the flights, but the entire ecosystem towards the aviation. Before ESP, I built core product muscle at Amazon. There, I learned how to obsess over metrics, ship features that matter, and scale teams to deliver at speed. That role obviously sharpened my instincts of customer dynamics and operational rigor. Earlier still, I was with CETA working on product solutions for aviation most complex worldwide, I can say that. I collaborated with airlines, airports, and regulators across the continents to deliver platforms that support different types of applications, biometrics, passenger flow, border security, anything you call about. My formal background is in engineering and computing, and I earned my MBA from Stony Brook University on Long Island in New York. That combination of technical skills and the business education gave me fluency in both domains since I am originally an engineer, critically when product decisions strain between code, market forces, and stakeholder dynamics. Though based in Long Island, in New York, my work has never been local, I can say. I've managed products and business operations across the regions, aligning with cultural norms, regulatory rhymes, and localized needs whatsoever. In the classic model of product managers, when the product managers are managing people and outputs, right? So strategy flows from top to down. Execution means hands off. AI breaks that structure. Today, the product leader's role shifts from controller to orchestrator. We no longer ask, what will be my team building next? We ask, how will my human teams and AI agents collaborate to decide what's coming next? This means defining rules of engagement, not micro decisions. Leadership becomes more creating into alignment. For example, in goals, what are the ethic policies and learning feedback across all entities producing those outcomes? That now leads to system of intelligence, such as LLM, data services, and autonomous agents that act with minimal support and supervision. Satya Nadella reframed Microsoft vision, as I just said, around co-pilot, not autopilot. The word is co. That means human leads and AI assist. Jeff Bezos' legacy at Amazon, autonomous two pizza teams, now extend to algorithmic agents managing inventory and pricing. So product managers supervise logic, not just the task. Elon Musk's Tesla's pilot organization shows the flip side. Without clear governance, autonomy can outpace accountability. So the product leadership must gate AI freedom with explicit boundaries. Spotify uses AI curation models that decide daily playlist. So product management's focus on ethical diversity and user trust rather than the track selection. I always say that effective leadership in the AI era isn't about directing every decision. It's about establishing clarity of purpose, alignment of data, and mechanics for safe autonomy. The next section explores how to translate that philosophy into strategy, how to shape vision, and then prioritize with AI. You know, I always say that in this era, AI era, I would say, strategy does not start in a whiteboard session. It starts in the data, as always. AI gives us a predictive lens. Instead of guessing what customers might do, we can model what they will do next week, right? That changes the role of product strategy from storytelling to continuous sensing about your customers. So, in traditional product planning, PMs wrote roadmaps based on quarterly hypothesis. Now, because of AI, you can let us run thousands of micro experiments simultaneously. Machine learning models monitor behavior, identity weak signals, and even recommend pivot points automatically. So strategy evolves daily. Each model or retraining becomes a mini strategic review. So if I'll talk about again with some examples, Amazon uses reinforcement learning to adjust pricing, fulfillment, and search ranking in real time. Effectively, the strategy updates itself every minute. Netflix is recommendation engine does not just personalize content, it informs what original content to produce next. I always say strategy is always equal to algorithmic foresight. Google DeepMind uses meta learning for AI resource allocation. Uh, if I'll talk about the strategic planning standpoint, right, as an optimization problem, not just a human meeting. Shopify amplifies predictive demand modeling to decide which integrations or payments feature to scale next. Each of these companies embed intelligence into strategy creation, not just their execution part. So, as AI becomes part of the decision loop, leaders must become curators of that intent by ensuring that model objectives still align with business purpose and their ethics. Then comes a new question. Does your algorithm share the product vision or not? Because if it doesn't, the system will optimize for something else entirely. once we design the vision, the next challenge is translation. A clear vision is meaningless to an algorithm unless it can express a clear data. Our job as a product manager is to convert that strategic intent into signal machines that can learn from it. Think of it as creating a language between leadership and AI. If the vision is to delight the customer, the system must understand what delight means in data terms. Repeat that engagement, low complement ratio, or reduce churn. It could be anything. So we design features that represent these behaviors, then allocate the models to learn patterns that signal success or drift from it. Airbnb uses guest satisfaction and rebooking probability as proxy signals for trust and experience. These metrics continuously steer both host tools and product updates. Meta for Reels, the vision is to maximize meaningful engagement, maps to their signal balancing time spent with integration quality, not just raw watch data. So, strategy clarity now means data clarity. If you can't measure it, your AI can't act on it. Product leaders must be fluent in connecting goals to data sets and data sets to ethically implications. Now we'll see how AI transforms the discovery process itself, how it can generate hypotheses, identify those patterns, and accelerate innovation faster than any traditional research cycle. So, traditionally, discovery was static. You can run interviews, build some personas, and then hope insight that will last a quarter. With AI, discovery becomes a continuous. Machine learning surfaces new pain points every day from the live behavioral data, search logs, and any support transcripts. LLMs can summarize thousands of customers' comments, detect sentiment shifts, or even propose potential feature automatically to you. Generative models can simulate A/B outcomes, before real deployments. Instead of single roadmap workshop, discovery is a stream of validated hypotheses ranked from data confidence. Coming back from Amazon, Amazon uses natural language models to scan products reviews and auto-suggest design improvements, turning customer voice into feature backlog. Figma employs ML to analyze design usage and recommend layout optimization by shortening user feedback loops. Atlassian AI system analyze Jira issue trends to predict upcoming bottlenecks by helping product managers to identify latent process pain. Spotify again cluster that analysis and detects emerging music submerges by feeding new playlists into this category. I always say AI is a real-time cultural researcher now. AI does not replace discovery, guys. It compresses it. So your role as a product leader is to ensure that curiosity remains with humans. Data should tell you what is changing, not necessarily why it is changing. So we still interpret motivation, ethics, and impact as human. So in the next step, we will see how AI transforms prioritization, how to decide what to build when algorithms produced more ideas than any executive. Once, you know, discovery accelerates, prioritization becomes the bottleneck. So AI can evaluate thousands of possible initiatives faster and more objectively than any human steering committee. So it is a supplement for you to produce much more quicker as a product manager. Machine learning models can assign confidence scores to features based on historic impact, technical complexity, and expected customer adoption. Simulators predict financial or engagement outcomes before code is written. That lets leaders allocate resources to initiatives with the highest model probability of success while maintaining auditable logic. In Amazon retail, predictive models rank features releases by incremental revenue and defect risk by guiding sprint sequences automatically. From the aviation, Airbus uses digital twin AI to prioritize engineering changes by safety, impact, and supply chain feasibility because product decisions needs modeled at risk functions. Pfizer employs AI portfolio scoring to decide which drug development performs move to trial, balancing the probability of success and patient reach. Okay. Nike demand forecasting AI ranks upcoming product drops, focusing design and marketing spend on SKUs with the highest predicted reasonables. Goldman Sachs, you know, internal product teams use AI scenarios modeling to choose which fintech features to launch, weighing regulatory risk against profit velocity. So these companies use data, not intuition, to choose what need to be built, often the hardest call. AI gives us statistical confidence, but leadership must provide ethical direction. But the machine can optimize for efficiency. Only you, as a product manager, can ensure the outcome aligns with brand promise and the user trust along with that. With strategy, vision, discovery, and prioritization now powered by AI, the next challenge is to scale it. So, how to execute fast without breaking the compliance or the control? After prioritization, execution becomes the proving ground, right? Scaling AI isn't just about faster releases. That is what we all think. It's about building a adaptable system that keeps learning without violating any sort of compliance or stability. AI transforms the life cycle. The product does not end at launch. It begins continuous evolution. Each deployment produces a new data, which retrains the model, which changes the experience. So it's a loop. So this loop can run daily. So your teams must integrate ML loops and product ops as a single organism. So, you know, Netflix runs over 250,000 A/B testing experiments annually, automating model rollouts and rollbacks in near real time. Product execution is continuous. If Uber is combining MLOps pipelines with experimentation of frameworks to dynamically tune ETA algorithms, ensuring compliance with city regulations while scaling. Adobe uses federated learning to deploy AI features like Firefly safely across market without moving sensitive user data. Salesforce, its Einstein platform retrains daily usage anonymously, by customer interactions, embedding governance directly into the development cycle. Toyota Connected integrates OTA over the air updates for vehicle AI blending safety compliance, the same thing what Tesla does, and rapid iteration. So their product managers manage AI models like physical components. These examples showcase how scale isn't about speed alone, it's about safe adaptability. To achieve this, the product leaders must own the interface between tech and trust. Execution at scale requires visibility, right? So clear metrics, audit trails, and automation that embeds compliance by designing, not by review. So now we will look at how to organize the humans around this. So how cross-functional models will evolve when data scientists, engineers, and designers all share the same AI backbone. So AI collapses boundaries between departments. Engineering decisions affects compliance, data choices affect UX, model updates after marketing outcomes. That's why execution at scale demands a cross-functional operating model, not a parallel functions. So the product manager becomes the translator of context. So you as the connector, the mathematician's intent would be that to design empathy and the compliance officer's caution. AI review boards, a small group of product managers, either it is legal, ethics, or data scientists, they should all validate every major model deployment. This governance isn't bureaucracy, right? It's quality assurance for intelligent behavior. If I'll give you examples, Google created responsible AI councils in each product group, cross-functional teams that review all launches for fairness and data lineage. Airbnb combines data scientists with UX researchers to test AI features for perceived trust before shipping them globally. AWS product managers and engineers co-own two-way doors for AI services, allowing reversible deployments for bias or instability that appears in the market. NASA JPL, a, their AI product managers coordinate scientists, robotics, and data engineers under a unified data governance that charter crucial for mission critical autonomy. So each of these organizations has learned how AI products don't fail from weak models, they fail from weak collaboration. As AI complexity rises, everyone, communications clarity is your velocity. The product manager power is not in authority, but in the translation, making sure every function understands the other's assumptions and data. So you need to explore how to sustain that balance, how to keep compliance and velocity moving together through governance by design. One myth I have often heard is that compliance slows innovation. I used to think the same way in the past. In truth, compliance poorly designed slows innovation. When governance is built into your pipelines, it becomes an accelerator, not a friction, by the way. AI products operate in regulated landscape, GDPR, EU AI Act, US Executive Orders, ISO 42001. Governance by design means embedding automatic checks, model validation, fairness metrics, privacy filters, and audit trails. So your goal is continuous compliance. Each release self-verifies. Each decision is trackable. Microsoft uses automated responsible AI standard workflows that assess risk and bias before its deployment, reducing manual review cycles by 60%. IBM Watson X builds traceability into every AI model version. Regulatory compliance and dashboards are integrated into the development tools. HSBC, the banking giant, implements AI model registries into automatically flagging those models that missing the validation reports, aligning risk control and speed in the financial environments. Meta Reality Labs uses AI-driven privacy monitors that alert product managers if any new data streams conflicts with the consent policies. Singapore Government Tech AI governance framework integrates model explainability tools directly into government service pipelines, speed through predictability. I would say compliance by design builds trust, not only with the regulators, but with users. So if you can explain every decision your AI makes, your release cycle speeds up because your legal, policy, and customer teams no longer slow you down. Now that we have learned and aligned the compliance with speed, Let's look at to how we can scale this technically, how large language models and agentic systems can be managed operationally through LLM Ops. Scaling AI in 2025 isn't just about adding servers, it's about maintaining control over dynamic intelligence. The large language models evolve daily. Managing them requires an operational discipline as rigorous as software engineering, which is LLM Ops. So think of LLM Ops as DevOps for models. Each model version has to be tested, benchmarked, and monitored continuously. Prompt changes are tracked like code commits. Every retraining cycle produces new behavior. So product manager must manage change management for intelligence. OpenAI, maintains structured eval pipelines. Each GPT release is tested on 500 plus benchmarks before even deployment. Anthropic implements constitutional AI, a governance layer that automatically realigns model to predict set of ethical principles. LinkedIn LLM ops to personalize user feeds. Models are retrained daily but not deployed on A/B test. Meet set safety and engagement thresholds. ServiceNow, my product today, manages instance level LLM tuning per enterprise client, tracking latency, accuracy, and hallucination rates into integrated dashboards. So these organizations operationalize the intelligence the same way we version APIs, the controlled, measurable, and explainable. So for product leaders, guys, LLM Ops is not an engineering detail, it's product hygiene. So you define the performance KPIs that drive retraining cadence, control data lineage, and decide when autonomy is safe to deploy. Now that we can manage intelligence at scale, the next leap is even more profound: agentic AI. Agentic AI systems that not only respond but act independently towards those goals. So agentic AI is the next frontier. We have moved from the models that predict to systems that act. Uh, an agent does not just answer. It sets goals for you, it executes those steps, and then adapts based on the results that they have achieved. That changes how we design products, teams, and accountability. In traditional software, autonomy lived with humans. Now AI handles sub-decisions, pricing adjustments, workflow routing, content curation, without waiting for permission. So the product manager's new responsibility is defining how much freedom agent has, what objective it pursues, and what boundaries it must not cross. In Amazon robotics, warehouse bots autonomously route themselves based on load balancing. AI coordinates hundreds of agents to optimize throughput. Tesla FSD, full service driving, car agents perceive, decides, and act while humans supervise. A practical demonstration of constrained autonomy. Bloomberg GPT, a financial analyst agent, summarize markets and trigger alerts autonomously for traders under human oversight. Each of these examples shows autonomy delegated safely with humans in the loop. So, as product leaders, you don't manage the agent, you manage its intent. Define its success metrics, feedback loops, and escalation paths. This is leadership for systems that think. Governance replaces micromanagement. Next, we will explore how to design those boundaries systematically, the principles that keep agentic systems aligned, explainable, and safe. Autonomy without boundaries becomes chaos. So, designing agentic AI requires a framework that defines when the agent can do what it must stop, when it must stop, and how it explains its choices. Think of each agent as an intern. High initiatives, low context. So you must set a clear goal, provide the feedback frequency, and escalation rules. Explainability is non-negotiable. Every decision should be trackable through structured logs or telemetry. So transparency enables trust or faster debugs. Anthropic's cloud uses constitutional AI. The model references a predefined ethical charter when reasoning autonomously. JP Morgan implements AI oversight dashboards where all algorithmic trades have human in the loop approvals to above set thresholds. Siemens Digital Industries industrial AI agents monitor factories autonomously but must escalate autonomies above defined safety margins. So each applies autonomy with guardrails, not freedom without accountability. So as product managers becomes designers of ethical scaffolding, the question isn't can my agent do this, but it should be should it and under what conditions it needs to be done. So good autonomy equals clarity of purpose plus traceable behavior, right? Let's examine now next what happens at scale, the massive opportunity and the equally serious risk that comes with the agentic AI. So every wave of technology creates both leverage and liability. Agentic AI is no different. It expands capability exponentially, but it also multiplies the points of failure. Leadership must learn how to manage that tension deliberately, not reactively. So, on the opportunity side, agentic AI gives you continuous execution. Products can learn and act while humans rest. Obviously, you need some time now. This is the time for you. So, workflow compress, their personalization deepens, and decision-making speeds reach levels we could not even imagine 5 years ago. Right? So these agents before force becomes the force multipliers by amplifying productivity across every function from customer support to their logistics. The risk lies in emerging behavior. Okay. The movement system optimized for metrics instead of the mission. A misaligned reward function can create unethical, biased, or financial harmful outcomes. So opacity compounds the problem. As model learns, these reasoning pathways blur. So if you can't explain why an outcomes happened, you can't govern it. So as product leaders must institutionalize these three disciplines, which is alignment by defining clear goals tied to user value. Then oversight by building and monitoring and escalation workflows. Finally, the retraining by make learning correction part of the life cycle, not a thoughtful process. Together, they create a living system that learns responsibly. We expand the idea how leadership extends beyond agents to manage the full ecosystem of non-human identities that now populates our products. Until recently, the word user meant a person. Now our systems are full of entities, algorithms, bots, APIs, and autonomous agents that use, request, and generate data continuously. So these are the non-human identities, and they are part of your product ecosystem, just like customers or your employees. So each non-human identity has intent and its consequences. So an API calls data. The chatbot interacts with the user. A logistic agent routes packages. They consume resources, trigger transactions, and influence decisions. They need identity, authentication, and behavior boundaries, just like humans in your organization. To manage NHI effectively, product leaders must establish by identifying governance. When you identify governance, you assign ownership and assess rights per agent, either human or NHI. Behavioral telemetry by monitoring actions, success rates, and anomalies if there are any. Then the accountability mapping by linking every autonomous decision to a traceable entity. Lifecycle management. When an agent's model becomes outdated, it should be retrained or retired systematically. By ignoring this leads to invisible risk, agents acting on obsolete logic or with untracked permissions. Think of NHIs as your digital workforce. Each has a role description, KPIs, and oversight chain. For example, a recommendation engine should be measured on diversity of content, not just click-through rate. A data cleaning bot could be scored on accuracy and latency. Performance and ethics now apply to software entities too. The maturity of an AI organization is visible in how it manages its non-human identities. You can't scale trust without visibility, and you control over every entity acting on your behalf. So now we will formalize this discipline, the governance framework that keeps humans and non-human identities aligned. I always like this visual which I created. Managing non-human identities at scale demands formal structure. So without clear boundaries, agents act faster than policies can catch up. A governance framework creates that structure, linking accountability, security, and transparency into an operational system. We start by classifying every entity into three tiers, which is human identities, employees, your customers, your consultant contractors. Then is the service identity, all the APIs, any integrations, cloud components. And then the agent identities, autonomous AI capable of decisions and actions. So each tier has defined permissions, escalation paths, and data privileges. So ownership is explicit. No autonomous actor should influence user and product environment. So the backbone of everything is zero trust architecture, wherein every request is verified regardless of origin. Telemetry captures behavior in real time, producing explainable audit trails. Policy engines enforce access, ethics, and safety threshold automatically. So anomaly detection models flag deviations before harm occurs. So the result is a living system of governance that scales with your intelligence footprint. Governance is not an IT function, okay? It's a leadership function. So you as the product manager, data scientist, and compliance teams must share the same dashboard and metrics and alert those thresholds. If an agent fails alignment, the product manager initiates a retraining cycle, not a blame game or cycle. That mindset keeps innovation fast but responsible, right? So now we will go ground this framework into reality with an applied example. How such governance operates in a complex, high-stake ecosystem. So let's translate the governance model into reality using two domains where autonomy already operates daily, such as e-commerce and transportation. Okay? Both depends on thousands of machine identities acting faster than humans can monitor. Yet every action remains accountable through structured governance. If I talk about Amazon, In Amazon's marketplace, autonomous systems control pricing, search ranking, inventory routing, and fulfillment speed. So each agent, say a pricing algorithm, has a defined operating policy. It can adjust within preset margins, but any deviation triggers a governance event logged in the model registry. Telemetry monitors bias, example, supplier exclusion, such as latency and conversion impact, right? So every update passed through an automated compliance pipeline that tests for a fairness and fraud before deployment. Product leaders track all these agents in unified dashboards, seeing which algorithm are learning correctly and which requires human review. So the takeaway is the governance converts chaos at scale into controlled adaptability. Okay. In parallel, if you'll see the transportation ecosystem, the same principle governs intelligent logistics and passenger systems. So the route optimization, AI predicts traffic and weather disruptions, but dispatch only execute plans approved within safety parameters. Predictive maintenance agents monitor aircraft sensors and escalate anomalies automatically to the engineers. Passenger flow systems at airports dynamically open at gates or checkpoints when crowd density crosses a particular threshold. Each action is logged with a digital identity by allowing post-event analysis and compliance verification. Governance ensures autonomy, improves safety, never compromises it. In both domains, leadership isn't about writing every rule, guys. It's about defining the systems that enforces those rules. That's the essence of AI governance at scale. Clarity of authority, auditability of the action, and the continuous learner. Now that we have seen governance in action, now let's move to the human side of the future. How product leadership itself is going to evolve in the new environment. So, the AI revolution does not just create new tools, it creates new kind of leaderships and leaders, I would say. So, the skill sets that built yesterday's products, execution, prioritization, and delivery still matters today, but the next decade demands a cognitive upgrades. Leaders fluent in data, ethics, and complexity. So every decision will soon have to have a data dimension to it. A future product leader must understand model confidence, data lineage, and bias detection, not to code, but to question intelligently. Equally vital is ethical reasoning, knowing when an algorithm's logic aligns with your company's value and when it does not. So, cross functional empathy replaces siloed expertise, right? Leaders must speak three languages, which is human motivation, technical architecture, and regulatory risks. They must also think in probabilities, not absolutes. At AI outputs are rarely certain. Leaders need confront and confidence intervals, trade-offs, and ambiguity. So, as AI complexity grows, narrative becomes power. You must articulate why a model exists, what it optimizes, and how it affects humans. That clarity ensures teams, executives, and regulators trust your intent. Finally, continuous learning isn't optional. AI AI's half-life is measured in months. Leaders who don't evolve will fall behind their systems. So tomorrow's product manager isn't just a strategist. They are an interpreter of intelligence. They connect human judgment with systematic reasoning, shaping alignment between purpose and prediction. If look at the teams for tomorrow, right? The next wave of organization won't just employ people. They will employ systems of intelligence. Your team may soon include a marketing analyst, a data scientist, and three autonomous agents continuously adapting campaigns or customer journeys together. Human and AI collaboration must be intentional. So, human provide context, creativity, and ethics. Then AI provides scale, speed, and pattern recognition. So, as the product manager's role becomes orchestration, deciding what belongs to humans, what belongs to algorithms, and how they learn from each other. Hybrid teams operate on transparency. So, each AI component has its own dashboard, performance confidence, anomalies, visible to the entire team. Stand-ups evolves into review loops. So, human analyze models feedback, AI summarizes sprint data, KPIs include joint outcomes such as time to decision, error reduction, and customer satisfaction consistently across automated and human channels. The culture of tomorrow is built on trust between organic and synthetic teammates. A human must understand what their AI counterparts can explain. AIs must stay auditable and predictable. Empowerment comes with clarity, knowing how each entity contributes to the mission. Just as industrial automation transformation physical labor, cognitive automation now transform mental work. So leadership becomes less about headcount and more about network coherence. So as we close, guys, let's synthesize everything we have covered and look at how leadership itself is being rewritten in this age of shared intelligence. So today we have covered the evolution of product leadership from strategy and execution to governance, autonomy, and hybrid collaboration. The pattern is clear. Okay. Leadership now means designing systems that think responsibly. AI does not remove the need for leadership, it multiplies it. So we no longer manage outputs, we manage learning. We don't control every decision, we define how decisions are made. Our success depends on aligning intent, ethics, and outcomes across humans and machines. So, as you return to your organization, ask three questions. What can my team teach its AI to decide better? Where should we set clear boundaries between autonomy and oversight? And finally, how can we embed governance into innovation, not bolt it on after? So these questions define readiness for next decade of intelligent products. So the leaders of tomorrow won't be defined by how many people they manage, but by how intelligently their ecosystem learns. AI is your new team member. Treat it with the same discipline, trust, and purpose you give to your current humans. Thank you for your time listening to me today. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and share your perspective to see how we can manage this AI drive future better. Thank you very much.